Hey, it's crazy, but if you're a bit like me, then you can't wait for the next opportunity and the privilege to jump into Arc Raiders and enjoy the world that Embark Studios are building for us. But the privilege comes with a cost. Today, I want to discuss everything we know about Arc Raiders pricing. Maybe it will help someone decide whether to buy the game, or if they're on the fence, we can start some discussions about pricing and talk about it here in the comments or on the Discord. Let's start with some amazing news. Embark Studios have started pre-orders for Arc Raiders, and with pre-orders, they also announced Open Server Slam stress test that will be running between October 17 and 19. Some people are calling it an open beta. It should be available to everyone, you don't need to own the game, and no special access codes will be required. This is amazing news because Embark previously said they're not planning any more public tests until the release on the 30th of October. So this was unexpected, but I am very happy about it. It's also the opportunity for anyone who hasn't tried Arc Raiders to jump in and try the game before making the decision to buy. The only caveat I would mention is that the devs said this test will only include limited and accelerated progression, which could mean that the test is going to be a lot more about just pure PvP, constant action and fighting, and not so much about questing, looting, survival, and taking in the world that Embark has created. So if this is your first experience with Arc Raiders, this short test might not represent exactly the experience of the full launch, but I'm very excited to check it out either way. Of course, now that the pre-orders are live, we've got a choice between the Standard and the Deluxe Edition, so let's quickly cover what's included in both. First of all, if you decide to pre-order the game before release, you will get some pre-order bonuses. Everyone who pre-orders the game will get the Lucky Duck bundle, which includes the Hatchling backpack and the Golden Rubber Duck backpack charm. So this confirms we'll be getting a lot of customization options, down to various cosmetic backpack attachments. Now, if you pre-order the Deluxe Edition, you will also get the Astro bundle when the game comes out. This bundle includes the G-suit that you can see in this image, and it's also featured in the pre-order trailer that's playing in the background. You will also get the Salvager backpack and a spaceship souvenir backpack attachment. So basically a lot of exclusive cosmetics just for pre-ordering. Once you made a decision whether to pre-order or not, the next decision of course is, do you get the Standard Edition or the Deluxe package? So let's quickly cover what's included in both. The Standard Edition is priced at $40 in the US, and without the pre-order bonus it's very simple. You get a great game and that's it. The Deluxe Edition is $60 in the US, so you pay $20 more, and besides the pre-order bonuses, you also get the legendary Valente outfit, which you can see in all the promotional material and in the pre-order trailer. You get the Pathfinder backpack, the blanket roll backpack attachment, and notice this is called an attachment while the Golden Rubber Duck is called a charm. So I wonder if we could maybe wear both of them on our backpack at the same time. You also get the Lip Scar face cosmetic, a cowboy scrappy skin, which looks like it might just be a cowboy hat for your hideout rooster, a finger gun emote, by the way we're getting a finger gun emote in the finals this week, and 2400 Raider tokens. Now, nobody asked my opinion on this, but personally I'm really enjoying the cosmetic options Embark is giving us in the finals, so I will probably end up spending a little bit of money on the Battle Pass in Arc Raiders. And if 2400 Raider tokens equal to about $20, then the Deluxe upgrade might be worth getting just for the in-game currency alone, with all the cosmetic items and the finger gun emote being kind of a bonus. But for you, of course, the upgrade might not be worth it, so it's great that we have two options to choose from. I also want to talk about regional pricing. It's a bit of a tricky topic, but I think it's worth covering because a lot of players around the world have already noticed something unusual here, and I've not seen many content creators talking about it. So what is regional pricing? Basically, when we say that Arc Raiders is $40, that's the US price. In the countries with similar economies like much of Europe and the UK, the price usually ends up being pretty close after conversion. But Steam also allows publishers to set different prices for different regions. So in places with weaker economies or lower average incomes, games are often priced lower to make them more affordable. The idea is that more players can jump in, and overall the community gets bigger and healthier. And right now we're seeing that Arc Raiders regional pricing doesn't really follow that pattern for some reason. If you look at other games, let's say Expedition 33 or Factorio, you'll see that in countries like Brazil or the Philippines, the price is clearly adjusted downward compared to the US. Even with Helldivers 2, Sony has kept the price pretty high in every region, but it's still cheaper in Brazil and Philippines and not more expensive than in the US. But with Arc Raiders, only a few countries get a lower price, and in many others, the price is actually higher than $40. That's not what most people expected, and it's definitely sparked some discussion. We've seen someone in YouTube comments claiming they're an Embark dev and saying that Embark is looking into this. So I really hope that this is just a misunderstanding that can be adjusted before the release, but we'll have to wait and see. If you're someone affected by this issue, let me know in the comments what price did you expect to see in your region. And I know that not everyone will care about this, especially if you're just able to grab the deluxe edition and call it a day. That's awesome, but good regional pricing does make a difference for all of us. More players can afford the game, which means that we get a stronger launch, healthier matchmaking, and ultimately more support and updates for the game in the future. So I think this is really something worth keeping an eye on. It's also worth talking about the price tag itself. Originally, when the game was created as the co-op PvE action shooter, it was supposed to be free to play, but when the game switched to PvPvE extraction adventure genre, the price tag of $40 was also added. Now, $40 I think is an interesting statement. It's not the price of a full AAA game, although I've seen many YouTube and Reddit comments saying that they're ready to pay more for this level of quality and immersion. But Embark clearly thought about the pricing and deliberately decided to go with $40 to make the game more accessible and easy to enter, compared to like $60 or $70 price tags. So accessibility is clearly important for Embark, which is kind of why I think they will address this regional pricing confusion eventually. But why go with $40 buy-to-play model instead of keeping it free to play? Well, there's some speculation online that when Arc Raiders shifted direction and added the PvP aspect, it immediately became more lucrative for cheaters to jump in, so maybe the $40 can be a barrier to entry for cheaters. Now, I personally think that slapping a price on the game is not going to help the cheater issue on its own. In order to reduce the amount of cheating, and I'm not saying stop all cheaters, that's basically impossible, but to reduce the amount of cheaters, the price tag only becomes a barrier if the developers have a very strong monitoring system in the game and are actively banning cheaters, and the game doesn't go on 90% discounts for a while. If the cheaters are not actively detected and banned, or if the game drops to like $3 pretty quickly in some regions, then the price is no longer even a speed bump for cheaters. They will just buy cheap accounts and continue logging in. So I think the price is only effective against cheaters when it's a complete package or a system of anti-cheat measures. So we're gonna have to see what the situation is with that once the game launches. But we don't have to speculate about the reasons for going from the free-to-play model into the $40 model, because we've actually seen Arc Raiders executive producer Alexander Grandal explain their motivations before. He said for free-to-play games, they need to strike a careful balance between providing engaging content and encouraging players to make purchases. For Arc Raiders, this shift will allow us to focus more on the engagement and fun, and will impact some choices with regard to how the game evolves over time. To me, that means that going premium allows them to focus more resources on developing new content and regular updates for the game, rather than spending too much time on constantly releasing new cosmetics or even some potential pay-to-win features. Cosmetics can be really fun like we've seen in the finals, but I think fresh new content and regular updates are much more important for a game like Arc Raiders, so I'm pretty happy about that explanation. So this is what we know about pricing so far. I've told you about the Server Slam Open Beta, I've told you about pre-orders, the Standard and the Deluxe Edition, the regional pricing issue, and the motivation behind going into the buy-to-play model. If you found this video useful or enjoyable, please let me know somehow. A like, a quick comment, everything really helps, and it makes me want to work on more good quality videos for you guys. And if you're somebody who already knows all this stuff, then you're probably extremely passionate about Arc Raiders just like me. I'd love to chat with you and hang out on Discord, so join the Discord, say hi, and let's see what we can do there. But for now, Crazy Trick out.